Season 5 of Stranger Things is finally out. I have finally watched it, and today we're going to talk about it. Fair warning, I am going to go into full spoiler territory with this because why not? So if you haven't watched yet, come back after you have. Let's get into it. So Season 5 of Stranger Things is here, and I've been waiting for this just as long as everybody else. I guess it's 3 years now at this point. And right off the bat, I just gotta say, I was not disappointed. Overall, I think the show wavered a little bit during Season 2, but everything since then has been really solid. So they released the first 4 parts. Chapter 1, The Crawl. Chapter 2, The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. Chapter 3, The Turnbow Trap. And Chapter 4, Sorcerer. The Duffer Brothers themselves directed 3 out of 4 of these episodes, and what's interesting is Frank Darabont actually directed 2 of the episodes in this season, one that we've already seen, which is the 3rd episode. If you don't know, Frank Darabont is a screenwriter and director. He wrote Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Blob, and he directed The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and The Mist. So the season opens up. We saw this clip online with Will in the Upside Down. He's running from the Demogorgon. I will say the effect of the young Will is a little goofy, but I'm willing to forgive it and ignore it. It's nothing too crazy, right? We basically see that he was taken to Vecna and stuff was done to him immediately. It's honestly pretty horrific. Then we get to catch up with the Wheelers, and the Byers are staying with them now, obviously because their house is in California. Robin and Steve are working at the radio station. The entire town is under military quarantine, lockdown, you know. The rest of the basketball jocks who didn't die in the last season are still harassing Dustin. Of course, he is wearing a Hellfire shirt to school. Lucas and Mike showing up there sort of to his rescue, then they also give him shit for it, but Lucas is very impending in that scene, man. It's kind of awesome. We get to see 11 training, and they do this thing where they show us someone else running from the military so that we think it's 11 about to possibly be captured. But if you watched any of the clips online that they released the last couple weeks or months, then you've already seen this clip and can probably guess that that's not what it's from, so... They set up checkpoints in the town, and Murray is sneaking in and delivering goods to our heroes. The radio at the radio station tower is on the fritz, so Steve and Jonathan are sort of in this macho competition for Nancy's attention, essentially. It's pretty amusing, you know. I wouldn't have expected this season to go any other way. We see an appearance of Peanut Butter Boppers. Now, if you're a younger viewer, you'll be like, I have no idea what the hell this is. And even myself, I don't think I ever got to try these, but I'm familiar with them. I heard about them. I heard the lore, you know what I mean? Also, they appear in The Lost Boys from 1987, which is the same year that this takes place. So they must have been popular that year or released that year. Robin is sending signals over the radio waves to basically signal them to do a crawl that night because the military is doing a burn. The character dynamics are fascinating because... they're all just locked in this town, and you can tell the tensions are high just because everyone's kind of sick of it, and understandably. Will has the vision where he's seeing the sky spin, which is going to come into play later. Some of this stuff I thought was very obvious. For example, Holly is one of the first characters shown, if not the first character shown after the whole Will and Vecna intro. And right off the bat, she's basically talking to this imaginary friend of hers. And my immediate feeling is, this is Vecna, right? And I'm not the only one watching this and thinking that, right? Tell me in the comments, I want to know. Because as the episodes go on, we see that that's true, and at a certain point I'm thinking, but it was so obvious. Now maybe that's just because I'm a viewer, you know? We get our first view of Linda Hamilton in here, and that's pretty interesting. It's always really cool to see what 80s movie icon they're going to cast in this show. I mean, the first season we had Winona Ryder and Matthew Modine. Season 2, they brought in Sean Astin from The Goonies. Season 3, Carrie Elways from Princess Bride. Season 4, we had Robert Englund, you know what I mean? So Linda Hamilton in Season 5 is really cool. Dustin, trying to get revenge against those guys, puts a snake in his locker, which gets killed, and they use the blood of it to write Burn in Hell on Eddie's grave. Then they beat the crap out of Dustin. As usual, the score for this is excellent. Season 5 is not disappoint at all. There were a couple moments in particular when they were setting up right outside the squawk in the van for the first crawl. The music playing there in that scene, it was awesome. Will starts to have these visions where he can see through the Demogorgon's eyes. They realize it's heading for the Wheelers. Nancy and Elle head there to head it off. And we have this sort of epic showdown between Karen, Ted, Holly, and the Demogorgon, which leaves Karen and Ted in the hospital, and Holly missing. Now, one of the few criticisms I have was during this scene that they definitely make it seem like they're killing Karen, right? The way that they are doing this, it's kind of a fake out. And I'm not saying I wanted Karen to die, but the way they don't show that scene chronologically, it kind of tricks your mind into thinking, oh, she's really going out, you know? Meanwhile, Elle enters the Upside Down and meets up with Hopper. They start looking around and encounter a giant wall in there. If I'm not mistaken, this is Elle's first time physically in the Upside Down, as opposed to just psychically traveling there. It was interesting seeing Jonathan call out Steve for all of his crazy behavior since they've all been back and hanging out together. It didn't go too much further than that, but we'll see how that whole situation develops over these next 4 episodes, I guess. Lucas pleads with Max at the hospital to wake up, and Robin and Will team up, actually, which is a team up I quite enjoy. There was a scene where Will witnessed Robin visiting her girlfriend in the hospital and kissing her. Honestly, it's a very beautiful scene. I'm happy to see these two working together and connecting. It's been one of my favorite dynamics in Season 5 so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm glad that Will is back and he's playing an integral part of this season. Always been a very important but underrated character, and I think this is his time to shine. Just this whole scene alone where he's using sort of his connection and the way they track it down and figure out what's going on with the Turnbows. They get everybody together and come up with that kidnapping plan, which, by the way, that whole kidnapping scene was absolutely bonkers. We haven't talked much about Holly, but she's trapped and she's being manipulated by Henry. Eventually, something really cool happens. We discover that Max is also trapped in there with her. We all breathe a collective sigh of relief, like, okay, they can get out of this. You know what I mean? One of the episodes of the season later is called Escape from Comazotes, or whatever it's called. So I assume they're going to be attempting at least to escape in that episode from there. There were a lot of Back to the Future and Ferris Bueller references in this season too. And while I'm talking about references, there was an Alf poster in Holly's room. I did notice that. That was awesome. But of course we have Yellow's Oh Yeah playing while Dustin is basically deciding that he's going to mount this antenna on Steve's beamer, which was absolutely hysterical. The way the music played, the way they wrote the scene. Dustin is Ferris in that scene, and Steve Harrington, of all people, is Cameron. It rules. I swear to God, I'm not crazy for this one. I can't even remember which doorbell exactly it is. I think it's the Turnbows doorbell, but it's literally just the same doorbell lifted from Ferris Bueller's house. I swear to God, go watch the movie. It's the same sound. Now, to me, I feel like it's very intentionally ripped from that movie, but I don't know. They go through with the kidnapping plan. They try to trap this thing. It goes almost according to plan, till Derek wakes up. They have this whole situation with him till the Demogorgon shows up where they're hiding with him. This whole thing is fascinating, and so much is happening at once in different areas, which is kind of how this show goes at this point. Steve, Jonathan, Nancy, and Dustin travel to the Upside Down after one of the Demogorgon attacks. Elle and Hopper infiltrate the facility where Lyndall Hamilton's character, Dr. K, is, which is in the Upside Down, which is also fascinating. They realize they have to capture all of these kids that the government has already captured, or I should say the military. We kind of don't even know who these people are exactly. And this thing ends in one hell of an epic showdown when Vecna finally shows up. The Demogorgons are running loose. Our characters look like they're about to die. And what happens? But Will finds the power within, you know? That speech earlier that Robin gave him, he remembers that in this moment and goes through his memories and empowers himself. And it fucking ruled, man. It was creepy, but awesome. And he did the Vecna thing. He broke the Demogorgon's bones. It was awesome. What can I say? So, considering all of that, I definitely think this is a great start to this season. I'm stoked to see where this is going to go. We have new character dynamics. We have the team up between Robin and Will, which is probably one of my favorite elements of this season so far, as well as just Will's arc and development finally being in an awesome place, you know what I mean? I'm excited for this character instead of just strictly feeling sorry for him, which is nice. Steve I found to be a tad bit annoying this season, but what are you going to do? Everybody else is kind of right on par. There are a couple things that seem a little tropey at this point. Like Murray giving the whole relationship talk to Jonathan, he does that to everybody every season. That's sort of his shtick. I don't know. This if I'm being nitpicky, you know what I mean? Overall, if I'm trying to think of negatives, real negatives, I think I've already mentioned the few small nitpicks I have. I don't really have anything else, other than that I have to wait a month for the other 4 episodes. Before I rate Stranger Things 5 Part 1, why don't you jump in the comments down below and let me know what you guys thought. What were your favorite moments? What do you think we're going to see in Part 2 and the finale? I gotta tell you, right now I'm feeling pretty strong overall. Like, I don't know if there's anything I think that, like, oh, this could have been done better, or I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. And that's just because I haven't seen the back half of the season yet, so I still have questions. There were a couple things, nitpicky things I had here and there, but overall I'm very excited to see the conclusion of this series. If you like this video, be sure to check out this one and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.